Hello everyone, it's Garrett from GCF Gaming, and today's tips and tricks video is about Turf War, and this is something that kind of slipped my mind. I really thought I had covered this already, but I didn't, so let's just go ahead and get into it. First of all, you're always going to want to go with the more defensive build, and the thing that'll make this more defensive, right, is unless you already have like Dark or something like that, you're going to want to, or I mean like Holy, right, where you want more Holy monsters on your team. If the monster that is, you know, for the week that you need to have 3 of is an attack, I would put 2 on your team, and then you can have a third there. I prefer using the top build because your defenders have more defense stats, or higher defense stats, than, you know, opposed to the like low attack stats that they get. I don't know, it's just preference. This is just what I use, and I find it to be quite useful. Now keep in mind that the switching will not work if it is a different attribute, so just make sure that you have socketed in there, or whatever you want to call it. This isn't Diablo, sorry. Just make sure that you have the correct, you know, attribute in there, and then yeah, so then you get started. Now, if you don't really have like a lot of good monsters to use, this is the thing where people get confused about combining and whatnot. And it is okay if you want to just, you know, combine all your stuff. Just make sure that you have like one of every attribute, because this stuff comes into play when you're looking at stuff like Turf War. It's really nice if you can, you know, get a full divine team. And remember that your stats aren't going to be as high, you know, the numbers aren't going to be as good as something that is more attack oriented. Like these bosses, you know, they deal higher amounts of AoE damage, and they deal it a lot faster than, you know, other mobs. They're not mobs, but the bosses in here. So if you're going up against something with a lot of attack, well, it just in general, you want to focus defense. That's kind of like the rule of thumb. You focus defense in Turf War, and you always want to get as many holies as you can in here. Now, I'm running a, sorry about that, guys. I'm also running a Earth Plus and a Water Plus, and that's because I don't have all my, you know, Holy Pluses yet, but when I do, that's what I'm going to be running. But right now, these are kind of like my highest defense monsters, and then I'm also running my, you know, Divine Fire Plus, and then the normal one that I got recently, along with the one that I've put into here. Now, this should give you some pretty good results, right? So here we get about 4,100,000, somewhere around there. Ooh, no, we're gonna do it, yeah. So this will give you 4,200, but if you really like, you know, really want to do something good. Oh, and by the way, I think I missed this, but also enhancing is a good way to get, you know, a good number of extra, you know, attacks and whatnot. That's always good to do, is enhance your team up. Because when you, like I said, when you enhance, you're going to get granted bonus stats and everything, and that's always nice, and it's a really good thing to do. But I think I mean, I showed my stats somewhere around the video. I think I'm like level 31 or level 32 with that, so, you know, from my humble opinion or whatever, I mean, I wouldn't bother maxing it, but, you know, it's up to you. Now, this tip is something that, I mean, I kind of screwed up with immediately, but basically, you try to apply these like AoE heals, and you'll know which one of your characters does and doesn't AoE heal. I thought all Holies and all Earths did AoE heals, but it's like, it's weird. Different heroes have different abilities, and you kind of get used to it. So what I like to do here is, in the beginning, just cast the AoE heal as much as I can, because damage here isn't as heavy, and if you can get them all back up to full, that's just great. But when you get into the later stages, you can focus more on damage, which is, you know, your fires, and mostly just your pluses. You can rotate in and out between those two. And the nice thing about having the Holy Plus, the Water Plus, and the Earth Plus aligned is you can cast one ability off the other. Like if you activate the Water ability into the Holy ability, which I'll show you here in a second, you can like cast into one another, so that way the AoE doesn't hit like everyone as fast. Where do I do this? Right here? Yeah, there we go. So now, look, when he goes to attack, we get 1 heal, and then if something were to die, we do a 2nd heal. So now this fire guy and everything else is going to stay alive as opposed to dying. Now around this point, I've only got 1 left, and I've kind of, made some mistakes, but we're going to get the heal, and then we're going to get the attack off. And this is using this kind of strategy, if you play it strategically, unlike I did, you can end up getting a lot of extra damage. In this one, I think on our last one we got 4,100,000. Here we got 4,800,000. So it can get it stacks up. Is what I'm saying. I hope this was useful to you guys. I hope this helped, and see you in the next one.